Okay, guys, while everyone else starts coming on, we're just going to slowly start going through some of the stuff that we would have learned last year. And we're just going to be sort of doing the basic stuff of algebra over the next couple of lessons. And today we're going to be talking about the words that are around algebra, so like the terminology, and then we're going to be adding things together. Okay, so let's see who's feeling brave today. Remember, you're welcome to unmute yourselves and talk to me when you have an answer. Okay, we have got three things written here on the board. So we've got 3x squared minus 4x plus 2. And I'm wanting to know what the word is for a number like this. So this number that says plus 2 that doesn't have a letter next to it. Who thinks they can remember what the word is for something like that? Take a shot in the dark, guys. Let's have a guess. And remember, if you're wrong, you're wrong. It doesn't matter. What could that word be called? If we have a number and it doesn't have a letter attached to it. So this is just some of our stuff from last year. Yeah, hello. Are you giving me an answer? Asonge, can I pick on you? Who was being so quiet today? Goodness, I don't think you guys have ever been this quiet in your life. Okay, so Mhlengi's saying a term. Yes, thank you, Dylan. Okay, it is a term. You're absolutely right. It is a term. All of these are individual terms. So, for example, let's just move this like this. This would be a term. This would be a term. This would be a term. So all of those are terms. Absolutely right. It's also something else. So all of these different ones, let's just write it out like this. They are all separate terms. But I'm looking for a number which, like a special word, where there's no letter attached to it. So it makes it different to something like that 4x. What could that number be called? I can give you a hint, and it starts with a C. Yes, Simpiwe, absolutely. It is 100% a constant term. Nice. Good job, guys. Okay, so a constant term is when we have a number and it doesn't have any letter attached to it. So that's what we call a constant. Okay, and we've seen that we've got 3 terms happening in this situation. And now I want to know what, let's say, just that 3 is and what just this -4 is. They also have a special name. So now I want to know what the name is when we have a number that's in front of a letter. So a number that's in front of the letter. Here we've got a 3 and a -4. What would that be called? It also starts with C. Yes, excellent. Great. Okay, so those will be called coefficients. Okay, and then we've got something like this. That letter. What is the letter called when we're talking about algebra? It starts with a V.
Think of V for Valentine's Day.
Yes, exactly. Think of V for Valentine's Day.
Oh, wait, well, it's the 15th. Sorry, I'm off.
No, it's okay. It's close enough to Valentine's Day. Good. It's a variable. Excellent. Okay, so our variables, when we have any kind of letter like X, Y, we could have A, we could have B, we could have C, all of those are variables. And let's do one other word over here. Let's talk about my color choices, guys, today are not great. I'm not going to lie. I want to know what that number would be called when we have a number that's sort of higher than the other number. So this is X squared. I want to know what that squared is. What can I call it?
It would be a power.
It would be a power. Can someone tell me another word for a power? I see exponents. Beautiful. A power or an exponent. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so those are our basic words. I have one more word that I want to know, and that is what all 3 of those terms together, what I could call it together when I have all 3 together. Kiara, I think you were feeling brave. And then you left me. Beautiful. It is an algebraic expression. Okay. Excellent. Okay. I'm going to see if I have any really bright people here now. Does anyone know the difference between an algebraic expression and an algebraic equation? Who thinks they can tell me? And if you can't like figure out in words what to say, what the difference is, could you give me an example of what an equation would look like? Who is feeling brave and filled with brains? Who can tell me the difference between an expression and an equation? Just going to write our example here as an expression. We've got 3x squared minus 4x plus 2. That's our example of an expression. Who can give me an example of an equation? And don't be scared. We would have done them a little bit in grade 8, I think. Let's see. An equation is the equal sign while they're pretty good. Okay, so an equation, as soon as we have an equation, it has a value. So an expression doesn't have a value, but an equation does have a value. So like we could say 6x plus 2 is equal to 0. Or we could say 8x is equal to 16. And we can solve for x. So in an equation, we've got these equal signs, like these dudes over here. That's how we know it's an equation. And in an expression, we don't have any equal signs. Simpiwe, you're on fire today, can I just say? Just blowing me away with your smarts. Okay, before we move on to our edition of algebra, I know some people got the joy of meeting Anya at the beginning of the lesson, but not everyone had joined yet. So I just want to quickly call on her so that she can say hello to everyone. Because Mr. Shongwe's wife is giving birth this week. So he is not going to be with us this week, and we have the wonderful Anya stepping in for him.
So hi everyone, my name's Anya. I'm standing in for Sir tonight. So I'll be helping out ma'am with her lesson. I'll also be monitoring the chat and checking if everything moves smoothly and all that. So if you're too shy to unmute yourself and share your answer in the lesson, please do so in the chat. If you have your hand up or so, I'll also be monitoring it. And if you don't want to ask ma'am, you can always ask me in the chat as well. And yeah, that's me. All right, I'll hand back to ma'am.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that everyone can find the chat and is able to communicate on it. So can everyone just make your way to the chat? And all I want you to do is to give me a number. 0 is saying absolutely terrible and 10 is saying brilliant. I want you to give me a number of how you felt about algebra last year. So when you did algebra in grade 8, if you hated it, you're going to give me a 0. And if you found it really cool and exciting, you're going to give me a 10. So find your way onto the chat and let me know how algebra went for you. Just want to make sure everyone knows how to get there. Awesome, guys. Thanks. Oh, goodness, -0. Oh, no. Okay, hopefully we can turn some of those lower numbers around by the end of this course. Okay. Cool. I'm just turning off my video so you're not staring at my ceiling, guys. But let's get moving. So we are going to look at adding and subtracting like terms. So like terms is something that we would have learned in grade 8. But if you're feeling like a bit stressed about algebra, and if it wasn't your thing last year, don't panic. We're starting everything right from the basics today. So don't stress. Okay. Let's have a look. We've got in question 1 over here, we've got 3 x's and I'm wanting to add another 2 x's. What would my answer be in this situation? Chuck your answers in the chat for me. If I have 3 x's and I'm wanting to add an extra 2 x's, what would my answer be? Okay, So we're getting some 5x's. Does anyone disagree? Would anyone say that it's something different? Okay, cool. So in this case, if I have 3x and I'm saying plus 2x, my answer is definitely 5x. And the reason that I'm allowed to add those is because these two terms are called like terms. And we are only allowed to add and subtract like terms. And it's because they both have x's that have the exact same exponents as each other. So both of those x's are to the power of 1. And that's why we don't need to write it. Okay, so because they're like terms, we are allowed to add them together. Now, in question 2, we've got something quite similar, except that we have this sneaky little plus 3 happening here on the side. Is that plus 3 a like term with the 2x and the 5x? Are they the same as each other? No. No. Yes, thank you. They are definitely not. I loved that no, by the way. They are definitely not the same as each other. So I'm not allowed to add them together. Okay, so when I'm looking at my like terms, I've got 2x plus 5x, which I am allowed to add. And then I've got this 3 on the outside, which I'm not allowed to add. Okay, so 2x plus 5x, like I'm seeing in the chats over there, that's going to give me 7x. And then I've just got that plus 3, which I'm not allowed to add to anything. Now from here, lots of people are like, okay, cool. Well, I can now just say that that's 10x so that I get a final answer. But remember, 7x and 3 are not like terms. Okay, and because they're not like terms, we are not allowed to add them. So our final answer is just going to be 7x plus 3. Okay, cool. Does anyone need to sit here? You can just put the little hands up emoji if you need to sit here for any longer. Great. Okay. Since you guys are being brain buffs, I've got question 3 and question 4 up here on the board. Let's see what answers you have. So once you have figured out the answers to 3 and 4, I'd love it for you to put them in the chat for me. Or if you're feeling brave, you can unmute yourself and talk me through either of these answers. Let's see how they go. So I would like the answers for question 3 and the answers for question 4. And remember, I am trying to trick you. So don't fall for my trap, specifically with question 4. I'm just drawing a line right through question 4. Don't fall for my trap in question 4. But I can see with your answers in questions 1 and 2 that you are doing great. So I have full faith. Okay, we have some answers coming in. I'm not going to say whether they're right or wrong yet because I want to see some more answers coming in first. So when you're feeling confident with your answers, chuck them in the chat for us. Okay, so we've got an answer from Simpiwe, from Yolanda. Thanks, guys. We have an answer from Songe. Okay. Keep them coming in, guys. You can see that there's lots of variation. Some of them are right and some of them are wrong, and that's absolutely okay. That's why we have these lessons together, so that we can learn. Okay, so far, I think the person who's gotten both right, Anya, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's Nklengi who's gotten both of these correct.
I agree.
Okay, nice job, Nklengi. So some of you have gotten one of them correct and then one of them wrong. And let's just talk about sort of what happened there. Lots of people for question 3 said that the answer was 2x. So they said this y minus that y, they're going to cancel each other. And so we're just left with 2x. But when we look at this, we have to say, is 2xy the same as y? Are those two like terms? So is xy the same as y? You can tell me, yes or no. Is xy the same as y?
No.
No, thank you. They are not the same, which means they are not like terms. Okay, and because they're not like terms, we are not allowed to add or subtract them. So we actually have to write this exactly how it was. We can't do anything else. We can't do anything fancy. Okay. And then for question 4, let's look at those ones. Let me just get rid of this. Is x the same as x? Are those two like terms?
Yes.
Yes, these are like terms. Okay. And what's if I don't have a number in front of the variable? What number would be there? If there's no number there, what number would be there? So what does that actually mean? What does minus x mean? 1. Excellent, Sasonge. Good. Okay, so just remember that 1x is exactly the same as x. Okay, so what this is saying is we've got 4x and we're minusing 1x from our 4x's, which means we get a total of 3x. If I had 4x plus x, because I saw a couple of 5s happening over there, then our answer would be 5x. Okay, but maths teachers love throwing this question in there because it always throws everyone off. Okay, let's move on to our next 2. What if yeah, okay. You know how I like to get a little bit trickier as we go along. Okay, let's give number 5 a try. See who gets this one 100% right. So at the moment, our champion of the day is Mhlengi. Let's see if they can be overthrown.
Ma'am, if you don't mind me just budging in here.
Not at all.
So guys, when you do these, it's also like, I love the way ma'am is using her colors. I'm actually quite jealous, but it's always good whenever you do algebra and maths is make it creative and fun. So if you have like 2 favorite colors or so, use that maybe, and then try to circle or underline or highlight all your like terms. So that's also something that might help. All right, back to you, ma'am.
I love that suggestion. I think for this one, let's try and do something different to highlighting. So let's say all we have is only 1 pen or 1 pencil, and then we can't highlight what our different like terms are. We can do it in a slightly different way. So I'm seeing some answers coming in, which is great. So our first job, so the first thing that we are wanting to do is we want to identify our like terms. Okay. And so if I don't have a highlighter and I'm wanting to identify my like terms, I can see I've got 7x and I'm wanting to plus 4xy. So those two are exactly the same as each other. Then I've got 3x, but I don't have another 3x. And then I've got a 2y and I don't have another 2y. So there's nothing else I can do with that. So then I'm just going to add. So if you had highlighters, you could highlight the ones that are the same. If you don't, you can just have shapes that are the same as each other. So here I've got 7xy and I'm wanting to add 4xy. So I land up with 11xy. My 3x was all by himself. So I've got my 3x and my 2y was all by himself. So I've got my 2y. And I'm seeing great answers coming in, which is awesome. Okay, beautiful. Can I move on to number 6? Does anyone need to sit here? Remember, you can just put up the hand up emoji if you ever need more time. Okay, I'm going to move on to 6 then. Okay, let's give number 6 a try. Number 6, I've tried to trick you. I'm just going to warn you now. So don't fall for my trick. So at the moment, we're just adding things that are the same as each other, and we're going to start bringing in some negative numbers just now. As soon as you have an answer, you can put it in the chat. So we've got one answer that's coming in so far. Keep them coming. And if you have a look at the way Songa is written, the answer where it's written to the power of 2, if you can't do an exponent to, if you're struggling with that, writing it out is great. Sino, can I help? Hi.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I think the answer is 8x to the exponent of 2 plus 4x.
That's beautiful. That's a perfect answer. Well done. Okay, so let's have a look at them. So the first thing we do is we identify our like terms. So we've got 2x squared plus 6x squared. Those two are the same as each other. And then we've got 3x and 1x. Now, if you struggle to add things where they are written sort of apart like that, you also can take a step to write the ones that are the same as each other next to each other. And then if that's how your brain works, because remember, all of us, our brains work a little bit differently. So if you struggle to jump between them, you're welcome to rewrite it if that helps you. You need to do it the best thing for you. And then we just add them. So we start with our 2x squared plus 6x squared, which gives us 8x squared. And then we've got 3x plus x, which gives us 4x. And that's our wonderful answer. Yay. Nice job, guys. Super good. Okay, let's move down. Let's try this one. So here we've got 4 terms. What is my answer going to be with this one? These ones, they should be starting to feel easier and easier as you're working through them now. And then just as you get comfortable, I'm going to throw in negative numbers. Tabetsu, are you going to give me your answer?
I think the answer is 9y to the power of 3 plus 7y to the power of 2.
Excellent. Well done. Nice job. Okay, so those two are like terms because they're both y cubed. And then these two are like terms because they're both y squared. So remember, with like terms, they have to be identical in every single way. So they have to have the same letter and they have to have the same exponent. Okay, so we have 6 plus 3, which gives us 9y cubed. And then we've got 2 plus 5, which gives us 7y squared. Okay. Glorious. Nice. Next one. Let's see. Okay. And then I think I have something fun after this question, if I remember correctly. I think I found a puzzle that may actually trick some of you, because I know last week you got it very quickly. I think I found a harder one.
And then, ma'am, while they're doing number 8,
Yeah.
I've set up like a quick little poll that we can maybe do towards the end of the lesson.
Awesome.
Just to get the kids' feedback from this lesson and all that.
Perfect. We'll do
All right,
that just
great.
before we move on along.
Okay, perfect. You, like I said, when you're ready for that, you just let me know and I'll put it up, but it's not necessary now.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, last we've got 10x to the power of 2 plus y plus 2. Oh, okay. And we've got 10x squared y plus 6y. Okay, we're getting all similar answers here, which is great. I keep on thinking I'm tricking you guys and you aren't falling for my traps, which is great. But clearly my traps need to be harder. Okay, so we've got 4x squared y plus 6x squared y. Those two are like terms. And then we've got 5y plus y. Those are like terms. And then we just get to add them. So we have 4 plus 6, which gives us 10x squared y. And 5 plus 1, which gives us 6y. Nice job, guys. Okay, let's move down. And we have our first puzzle of the evening. I have 2 for you today because I thought I can't bring algebra in and not let you have a little bit of fun. Like I said, it's a little bit harder than the one last week because you just got it too easily. But I'm only wanting one answer here. So you don't need to tell me what the apple is and what the lemon is and what the orange is. I only want to know the final answer. So my final answer here is I want to know what a lemon plus a watermelon plus an orange is. That's all I want to know. Just going to give you some time to try and figure this out.
And obviously, ma'am, just want to make sure, you know, in case our students are a bit unsure, the red apple and the green apple, they can't be the same value, right?
Absolutely. They cannot be the same as each other.
Okay, perfect.
As soon as you start to feel brave, you can start giving some of your answers, but I know this is quite a tough one, so you may need some time to work through it. Last, I did not get 12. Pinky? Oh, Pinky, I thought you had an answer for me. I got so excited. Oh, Taquan! You guys were so close. Lost and Asonga were both so close. But I get the same answer as Taquan. I got 14. I mean, I could be wrong, guys. But I also, okay, so we had 16, 17. Lots of 17s coming in. Let's have a look. Let's try and go through it and see. Maybe I am wrong and then someone else can have it. Lihle, did you want to say your answer? Okay. Let's have a look. Let's sort of go through it sort of step by step. So I think the easiest place to start with this one is our green apples because they are the same as each other. So we know that our green apples each have to be 3 because we're trying to get to a total of 6. And that means that this green apple here is 3, which means that this red apple has to be 1. Oh, sorry, you can't really see that color in there. Let's change it up. Okay, so we know red apple's 1 and we know the green apples are 3, which means that this red apple is 1, which means our lemon is 5. Okay, we've got our 5. Here we have 5 plus 2, which means our watermelon is 7. So we've got 5 plus 7 so far. We know that the lemon is 5. We know that the watermelon is 7, which means our orange must be 2. And so we get 5 plus 7, which gives us 12, and 12 plus 2, which gives us 14. So Taquan, you are absolutely right. Well done. You got that so quickly, much quicker than I anticipated. You did super well. I keep on thinking that I'm like tricking you guys and then you get them too quickly. And now I feel lost as to how to trick you. But we'll get there. I have got another puzzle for you today though, but we're only going to do it like sort of later. Just as a little teaser. So it's quite different. It's not a picture one like this. Okay. So let's move down. What we're going to do now is we're going to try and bring in some negative numbers. So just before we start bringing in algebra, let's just quickly see how we are with just dealing with negative numbers in general. So if I have 5 minus 7, I want you to think about your number line for a second. I know you may not have thought about your number line for quite some time, but that's 0. And then we're going to go into our negative numbers over here, -3, -4, -5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so if I was saying 5 minus 7, that means I was on 5 and I'm going to minus 7 from 5. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to move to the left because I am subtracting. Okay, and so 5 minus 7 gives me a total of -2. Absolutely. Great, Lutando. Absolutely. What would happen if I'm looking at number 2? So number 2, I've got -4, and then I'm adding 2, and then I'm subtracting 6. So you can use this number line sort of here to help you if you need it. But if I'm on -4, then I'm adding 2, and then I'm subtracting 6. What would my final answer be? I know negative numbers make everything a bit nasty. Guys, you're doing so well. -4 plus 2 minus 6 is absolutely -8. Yes, yes. Okay, so -4 plus 2, let's sort of do it step by step for those of you who are struggling. -4 plus 2, so -4, and I'm adding 2. So that takes me to -2. And then I need to minus another 6. So now I'm going from -2 and I'm jumping a whole bunch all that way. I'm moving 6 to the left, which gives me a total of -8. Excellent. Okay, so now that I'm certain that you're fine with negative numbers, now we're going to chuck in some algebra. Okay. And this is where sometimes our wheels fall off the wagon a little bit, but I know that you can add like terms and you can subtract like terms because you were doing them like geniuses just now. And I know that you can deal with negative numbers because you just showed me right now. So all we're doing here is we're combining those two concepts. We've got some algebra and we've got some negative numbers. And let's see who thinks they can tell me my answer for question 2. So we've got 3x minus 2y minus 7x plus 8y. I know it's a little bit different. Don't panic. Help you a little bit with your like terms. Remember, you have to take the signs with them. Let's see if that helps. Okay, so we've got 2 different answers happening in the chat. Let's see who else is feeling brave. Put your answers in there. Doesn't matter if they're right or wrong. Keep them coming. Give it a try.
Ma'am, the answer will be -4x plus 6y.
That's great. That's a perfect answer, Sino. Well done. Okay, so let's have a look at what's happening because some people are getting this beautifully right and I think some people are making silly mistakes with signs and that's all that's happening. So for those of you who are able to see it this way, that's great. We've got 3x minus 7x and 3 minus 7 gives us -4x. And then we've got -2 because remember that sign has to come along with us. So we've got -2 plus 8y, which is going to give us plus 6y. Now remember, if your brain does not like seeing it like this and it prefers things being next to each other, that's okay. We can write that as 3x minus 7x minus 2y plus 8y. And then we can do it step by step. We can look at those two and we can look at those two. So 3x minus 7x would give us -4x and -2y plus 8 will give us positive 6y. Okay, so it's all just about practicing and seeing how our brain works. Does our brain work where we can jump from one to the other, or does our brain prefer where we write things next to each other? And we just do whichever one our brain prefers. Okay. Good. And well done to everyone who tried that question, because they're going to just get progressively harder. And I love that you are trying and you're just putting in your best effort. Those of you who are getting -10x and -10y, what's happening is you're not looking at the signs that are coming forward with this. So in order to get that answer, let's write it in a different color. If I wanted to get negative 10y and negative 10x, I would need to have negative 3x and negative 2y, negative 7x, and negative 8y. So this would have to be negative, and that would have to be negative in order for me to get negative 10x and negative 10y. Okay, so it's just about practice. We'll get there. Now, for this one, I want you to try and identify which way worked for you. So either highlighting, and I highly recommend you write these questions down as we get into the trickier ones. Highlight the like terms, add them together, or rearrange them, depending on how your brain works. I want you to give this question a try. Just do your best. Make sure that you're taking signs with them. So that's negative 3x squared, and that's negative 8x squared. And this is negative 2x and positive x. Okay, let's see how this goes.
Ma'am, can I give the answer?
Of course you can, Sino.
Ma'am, I think the answer will be negative 5x to the exponent of 2 minus x.
Okay, I can tell you that your minus x is 100% right. So I really like your minus x, but your x squared number needs a little bit of work. Who thinks they can jump in here and save the day?
Isn't it minus 5x to the power of 2?
It's not minus 5x because this is a negative 3. That's my hint to you. Oh, Tabetswe wanting to help you, Sino. I'm going to let Tabetswe help.
I don't think I'm right, but like I got 11 minus 3x.
Okay, so your 11 is sounding good. Your signs are just needing a little bit of work.
Ma'am, I got the answer now.
Okay, tell me, Sino.
It will be negative 11x to the power of 2 minus x.
Yes, nice. Okay, so now the trick with this is, whenever we start algebra in high school, everyone's like, oh, algebra, I can't use my calculator in algebra because there's all these letters. That's such lies, guys. As soon as you've identified your like terms, like I have here, I've got this blue block and this blue block. As soon as I know what my like terms are, then I can use my calculator to help me. Because remember, our calculator is our friend. It helps us from making silly mistakes. So if I have my calculator and I'm looking at my blue, I can say, well, what's negative 3 minus 8? And our calculator will be like, oh, it's negative 11. And we know that the variable is x squared. So we can absolutely use our calculators to help us where we need to. Just don't ever forget to put the variable after it. And then for our green here, we had negative 2x plus 1x, which gave us negative 1x. Okay. Cool. We're getting there. Remember, I know it gets harder with negative numbers. That's why we got to do it together. Let's see if you got the last one wrong, if you can get this one correct. Let's see who can change the ways for this one. I'm going to help you a little bit because I know it's difficult learning from a screen. So I'm just going to highlight your like terms for you because I know you know how to do that. And let's see how we go. And try and use my trick. See if your calculator can help you. As soon as you think you have an answer, you're welcome to put it in the chat for us. Let's see, Songe has given us an answer. And I like the answer. Sorry, guys, that whisper came across way creepier than I intended. It was not meant to be a creepy whisper. Okay. Just going to give you 1 more minute. Simply where I like the 3x, just be careful with your sign. Same from Klengi. I like it, but just be careful with your signs. Kiara. Okay, so I'm going to just write all of these answers that I'm seeing. Okay, so answer number 1 that we've gotten is 3x squared minus 6x. Then we've also gotten the answer negative 3x minus 6x. We've gotten the answer negative 3x squared minus 4x. And I think there's another one. Yeah, negative 3x squared plus minus 6x. Okay, so let's talk about these different answers that came through in the chat. So I can say that one of these answers is absolutely correct. And the answer that is absolutely correct, so if it was you, and you can give yourself a big pat on the back, the answer that is 100% right is number 2, negative 3x squared minus 6x. But let's talk about why the other ones aren't correct, because they all have got a very common mistake that's happened in them. In the first answer where we have 3x squared minus 6x, what happened there was we aren't taking into account the fact that this over here is a negative. So when I'm looking at that x squared, that's negative 6x squared plus 3x squared. And because negative 6 is further into the negatives than 3, our final answer has to be a negative. Okay, so that's what happened in our first answer if you went wrong there. In our third answer, where we've gone wrong is this negative 4x. And in order for that to happen, this would have had to be a plus. But it's not a plus, it's a minus. Okay, so if we have negative 5x minus another 1x, that's going to give us negative 6x, not negative 4x. And then our last one, it's so close to being right, but in maths, we're not allowed to have two signs that are next to each other like that. I can have a multiplication and a negative sign next to each other, but I'm not allowed to have pluses and minuses next to each other. So when we have a situation like that, then we think about our rules where things work together. So if I have a negative and a negative, it's positive. If I have a positive and a negative, it's a negative. So here, a positive and a negative would give me a negative, and I'd have a negative 3x squared minus 6x. So try and identify which one of those was yours where you went wrong. Think about where it went wrong, and then in the next question, try and not make that same mistake again. Okay, let's try this one. Let's see if we can not make that same mistake. Let me just highlight for you quickly. Okay, we have some answers coming in. Luniko, are you ready to give me an answer? Oh, I can't hear you, sweetheart. Oh, Luniko, I can see you trying to talk to me, but I can't hear you. I'm not sure what's happening. No. Okay. Let's have a look here. So I'm seeing some good answers coming in, and then I'm seeing, oh, Kiara, you saw your mistake. Excellent. Okay, so some POA, be careful. You've done what we just spoke about there. You've got those two signs next to each other. You've got that plus and that minus next to each other. So think about what it needs to be. Okay, Mhlengi, got some good answers. Okay, so let's have a look. So I'm just gonna get into I'm just gonna rewrite the ones that are the same as each other next to each other, just in case that's how your brain works. So we've got negative 3x squared minus 8x squared, and then we've got negative 2x plus x. We're gonna add those together. So negative 3 minus 8 gives us negative 11x squared. And then here we've got negative 2 plus 1, which gives me negative 1x. And I don't need to have that x, that 1. I can just have negative x, or you could write negative 1x. It is up to you. Okay, beautiful. Guys, I'm seeing some good answers. Those of you who are sort of getting your signs confused, I think it's just because you are sort of trying to jump ahead, or maybe you're not writing the question down in front of you and you're trying to look on the screen. I can't recommend enough the help it is to just write it down and see what's happening. And for some people, grouping them together like this is really beneficial. So if that's what works for you, then please do it. There is no shame in taking a little bit longer in a question to write it down. I think before we jump to our next question, I'm just going to give Anya a chance to do that quick poll with you. So I'm just going to hand over to you for a second.
All right, so guys, it's just a quick poll. I've set it up now. We would just like to get an idea of how much you guys enjoyed this lesson. So there's a rating from 1 to 5. So like 1 is like you did not enjoy it one bit, it was boring, it was horrible. 5 is like 100% the best. 3 is like not really bad, not really good, and then 2 is on either side, or 2 and 4 is on either side. So read through those and then please choose an option that you feel is best fit. And yeah, it's just to give us an idea of how we can improve and help you guys. So you're helping us help you.
Just keep those answers coming in, guys.
And this stays anonymous, like it doesn't show names or anything. So please share your answer. If you feel it was like a horrible lesson, by all means, go for it.
Hopefully you didn't, but if you did, you must answer honestly.
Okay, just waiting for a few more responses. About 10 of you still need to choose. Maybe there's something you want to share that's not in the poll, then you can share it in the chat or unmute yourself. You can also do that. All right, ma'am. I think it's going to stay at about there. There's
Yeah,
about
I don't know if
9
we're going to
winners
get the
out.
whole.
That's fine.
That's okay, though. Tiana, did you want to say something?
I say every day's class, not every day, but every like Tuesday and Thursday's class is nice. It just depends like on what the topic is. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. Because sometimes like the topics aren't super fun.
Yeah, but just I say today's topic, this is why you didn't see my name once, or just only the time when I was supposed to say how I felt about it was the only time I answered today. After that,
That's okay. But remember, but are you
no,
feeling a little bit better with like algebra than you did at the beginning of the lesson?
Yes, I do feel better with it.
Yeah, It just takes time, guys. Algebra is all about practice. So like, we'll get there by the end of this. And by the end of our course, you're all going to be pros at algebra and you'll love it. I promise, promise, promise.
I'm just going to hop in here quickly and just say bye from my side. I need to hop off, but I'll see you guys on Thursday again. All right.
Bye, Anya. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Okay, guys, I'm going to move us on to our next question. Okay. Let's see. You guys just do your best. You just keep on going. I know that like algebra is not everyone's favorite thing, but the thing is that algebra is so important in maths and we have it forever. We use algebra all the way up to matric. So we gotta start making friends with it. It needs to be like that person who you don't want to sit with at break, but then you make friends with them and then they become your best friend. That is what algebra needs to be for us. Okay, let's give this one a try. Use your calculators where you need to, guys. Look at the coefficients, add and subtract them. Okay, Songe coming in quickly with an answer. Let's see if people agree or disagree with that answer. Okay, Kiara's agreeing. Mklingi's agreeing. Lossa's agreeing. Nice, guys. Look at you. This is 100% right so far. Awesome. Okay, so we have 2x and then we're subtracting 7x. I'm just going to write it out in case it's something that you are needing to see. And then we've got the -3 over here and we are subtracting 5. Okay, so 2x minus 7x gives us -5x, and then -3 minus 5 gives us -8. Absolutely 100% right. Sorry, Songi, were you going to say something? Did I interrupt you? I hope not. Nice, guys. That was 100% right. Okay. Being a bit mean here. But let's see. You know, I like to be a little bit mean. Okay, let's just link our like terms together and see how this question goes. Okay, Mklengi has an answer. Songe has an answer. Let's see. Does anyone disagree with these answers coming in? Does someone have a different answer that they feel good with? Okay. Nice. Let's go through this. Let's go through this one. Okay, so in this question, we've got x squared minus x squared, and they're going to cancel each other out. That's the same as like saying 5 minus 5. 5 minus 5 is 0. They kind of go away from each other. And then we have -1 minus another 1. So if I wrote to you, if I wrote -1 minus 1, you would all be able to tell me that that's -2. The only difference here is that we've got variables involved. And as soon as there's algebra, things feel a bit more confusing. So -1 minus another 1, that gives us -2x. So well done to those of you who got that. That is absolutely awesome. I'm going to give you one more question for the night, and then I'm going to let you be free. Last question for this evening. Last one, and then you are done for maths for Tuesday, and I will see you all again on Thursday. And on Thursday, we're going to start multiplying these things. Let me just highlight your like terms for you. Ooh, interesting color choices that I did over there. Anyway, it's too late now. Okay, as soon as you feel good with an answer, chuck it in the comments for me. We'll go through it. Beautiful, guys. Nice. Okay, 5xy minus 6xy definitely gives me negative 1xy, and negative 3y minus 2y definitely gives me negative 5y, and that is my answer. And you don't have to have that 1 there. You could just have negative xy. That's beautiful. Nice job, guys. I'm going to jump on to my grade 10 lesson now, so I need to leave you, but this has been super fun, and thank you for your feedback in the poll and for just like interacting in the lesson and for giving your answers, and I will see you all on Thursday. Okay, have a lovely, lovely evening, everyone. Bye.
Bye, man.
Bye, man.
Bye, guys.